for 4 eyes while the fourth monitored the approaching human fleet. The sight filled her with what her species called threx, a mixture of amusement and disdain. Primitive chemical propulsion, she clicked to her tactical officer. Crude kinetic weapons. And look at those ships, cobbled together from mining equipment and cargo haulers. Her mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among her kind. The Galactic Council was right to exclude them from military consideration. The humans had been discovered only 50 standard cycles ago, a young species that had barely mastered faster-than-light travel. When the Zephyrian Collective had invaded human space 3 cycles later, most civilized species expected swift capitulation. Humans were physically weak, their technology laughably primitive, and their military doctrine non-existent by galactic standards. Yet here they were, somehow having pushed back the Zephyrians to this contested system of Kepler 442. Vexithara's orders were clear. Eliminate the human fleet and secure the system for the Colonian Empire. It would be a simple matter. Her dreadnought inevitable victory alone outmassed the entire human fleet. "Admiral Chen," came the crackling transmission from the lead human vessel, a converted cargo ship with weapons grafted onto its hull like metallic tumors. "I'm Commander Sarah Martinez of the UES Defiance. I'm ordering you to withdraw from Kepler 442 immediately." Vexithara activated the translation matrix. "Human Commander, this is Supreme Battle Leader Vexithara of the Colonian 7th Fleet. Your primitive vessels pose no threat to our forces. Surrender now and your crews will be granted swift deaths." A pause. Then impossibly laughter echoed across the comm channel. "Ma'am," Martinez replied, "with all due respect, you clearly don't know much about humans." The battle began predictably. Vexithara's energy lances carved through space with surgical precision, each shot calculated to disable rather than destroy. She wanted to study these ships afterward. The human vessels scattered like kethflies before a storm, their crude rockets sputtering desperately, but something was wrong. The humans weren't retreating in panic as expected. Instead, they were adapting. Their formation shifted constantly, never staying in one configuration long enough for the Colonian targeting computers to establish firing solutions. Ships that should have been vaporized by the first volley were somehow still transmitting, their hulls scarred but intact. "Battle Leader," her tactical officer reported, confusion evident in his voice. "The human vessels appear to be coated with a reflective compound. Our energy weapons are losing 30% effectiveness." Vexithara's mandibles clicked in annoyance. "Impossible. Our sensors showed no such modifications during approach. The coating appears to be spray paint, ma'am, applied during flight." Spray paint. Vexithara felt something she'd never experienced in 3 decades of warfare. Uncertainty. The human ships continued their chaotic dance, and now Vexithara noticed something else disturbing. They were using their apparent weakness as a weapon. A damaged human destroyer, trailing atmosphere and debris, suddenly accelerated directly toward her flagship. Vexithara ordered defensive fire, but the ship's trajectory was too erratic to target effectively. At the last moment, the destroyer's crew ejected in escape pods, while the ship itself, packed with crude nuclear explosives, detonated against the inevitable victory's shields. The blast did little damage, but the electromagnetic pulse disrupted the dreadnought's targeting systems for precious seconds. Seconds the humans used to close distance. "They're ramming us," someone shouted, and Vexithara watched in horror as human ship after human ship threw itself at her fleet with suicidal abandon. Not random panic, but calculated sacrifice. Each ramming ship targeted critical systems: sensor arrays, weapon ports, engine clusters. The Defiance limped closer, its hull breached in a dozen places, crew compartments venting atmosphere like blood from wounds. Commander Martinez's voice crackled over the comm, distorted by damage to her ship's systems. "You want to know what you didn't understand about humans?" She gasped. "We're not trying to win this battle. We're buying time." Vexithara's fourth eye snapped to the long-range sensors just as new contacts appeared. Dozens of them. Human reinforcements, but these ships were different. Sleeker, more advanced. In the 3 cycles since first contact, while the galaxy had dismissed them as primitive, humans had been learning. Studying every piece of wreckage, every captured weapon, every tactical recording. "Impossible," Vexithara whispered. "No species advances that quickly." "You never fought a species that had to," Martinez replied. Every human child learns about our history, how we fought wars for thousands of years, how we turned every disaster into a lesson, every defeat into motivation. You thought we were weak because we're young. But we're not weak, we're desperate. And desperate humans are the most dangerous thing in the universe. The new human fleet opened fire with weapons that shouldn't have existed. Modified Colonian energy lances powered by human fusion reactors, creating hybrid weapons more efficient than either species had achieved alone. Vexithara's remaining ships found themselves outgunned by their own technology, turned against them and improved by human ingenuity. As the inevitable victory listed to starboard, its main drives failing, Vexithara finally understood. The other species had evolved into their niches, becoming specialized and comfortable. Colonians were warriors, Zephyrians were conquerors, Altarians were scientists. But humans were survivors. They had clawed their way up from a death world, fighting everything from ice ages to asteroid impacts to their own destructive instincts. Every challenge made them stronger, more adaptable, more dangerous. The last thing Vexithara saw before the Defiance rammed her bridge was Commander Martinez's battered face on the view screen, blood streaming from a head wound, eyes blazing with determination that transcended species barriers. Later, when Colonian historians would study this battle, they would mark it as the moment humanity earned its place not just in galactic civilization, but at its forefront. The species that had been dismissed as primitive had proven something the galaxy had forgotten in its comfortable evolution. Sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one with nothing left to lose and everything to prove.